What is this thing I saw at an auction? You can slide the ridged part on the longer part, but I don't know what it does. Even in the auction write-up, they say they don't know what it is. It's wood and brass, and the ridges are a little sharp. The measurements are in centimeters, I believe. Any idea what this is made for? It's a Victorian-era pill roller. During the American Civil War, this object was a technologically advanced way to get medicine to soldiers in a quick and efficient manner. The medicine would be ground up and mixed with wax or syrup to make a squishy Play-Doh-like paste. Then the paste would be rolled into a long sausage and pressed through the metal section, which cut the sausage into perfect rounded pills. I inherited a 1968 Volkswagen bus, and this was in the back. My grandfather used to work for North American Rockwell, and we think it may be some type of calculator. Unfortunately, we are unable to make anything out of the keys, and we are not finding a lot of info online about it. What could this be? It's a Remington Rand portable electronic key punch from circa 1955. It is a manual punch for old-style computer punch cards. The data is stored on the card by punching holes which represent letters or numbers in specific column locations that relate to the information being recorded. To read this data, the card must be run through a machine that can detect or sense the location of the holes. What is this sterling silver object made by Tiffany? It is marked Pat June 24th, 1902, Sterling and Tiffany & Company. About 3 inches long when closed, about 4 inches when expanded, and weighs 16 grams. The end with the hanger expands with an internal spring. I don't feel any suction when I expand or contract this object, and when I blow through the open end, the air seems to pass through silently, so not a whistle. I'd be really interested to know what this is for. It's a spring-loaded cigar piercer, patented June 24th, 1902, by Edward Todd Jr. of New York, New York. By depressing the plunger end, a steel tube comes out of the center of the cup and pierces the cigar. I found this while going through my grandpa's things after he passed. I initially thought it was a pipe based on its shape, but there is no continuous airway. The dragon head on the bowl part hinges open to reveal an empty cavity and the head of a small brush that runs through the length of the piece. It looks to be made out of brass and about 6 inches long. Any ideas? It's a yatate, a portable Japanese calligraphy tool from the mid-1800s. It's a little portable traveling writing set that holds a brush and a little box for storing ink. The box would be full of cotton wadding, and this would hold the ink, and the brush slid down the handle when not in use. What is this thing that looks like a plumb bob but has dials that turn and has some strange markings on it? I found it in a box with some other tools in an old house we just moved in, and maybe it was something else in a past life. Does anyone know what this would have been originally used for? It's a World War II Type 89 combustion-timed fuse for the Japanese 75mm and 105mm anti-aircraft guns. The design is one of the last combustion-type fuses fielded, which were all based on the Borman time fuse as used in the US Civil War. The fuse is made up of brass rings, with a track of explosive powder running through a channel in each. How the rings were rotated would determine how long the delay of the fuse would be. The time increments are marked at the bottom from 0 to 30 seconds. Please take it to someone who knows what they are doing, and get them tell you if it is inert or not. What is this double-walled cast iron tiny pot thing I found in my grandfather's house? The diameter is 3 inches, and the height is just under 3 inches. There's a text on the lid that says, "The Home." Any ideas are appreciated. It's a cast iron glue pot from the late 1800s to early 1900s. It's a double boiler for melting solid animal glues, a collagen-based glue traditionally made from boiling down animal hides and sometimes hooves. That's the source for the stories about sending old horses to the glue factory. Water was placed into the outer bucket and hung over a fire, and the glue melted in the inner lidded pot. The hot water kept the glue warm for use. What is this antique ceramic vaguely vase-shaped thing with small holes in the top and a large hole in the base? I found it at a thrift store in the Southeast USA, and I couldn't find anything like it via Google. My first guess is a vintage incense burning accessory, but I didn't see any similar, and I don't believe it's a hair receiver as my friends guess. Any ideas? I'm an antique dealer that specializes in Victorian items. This is 100% an antique Victorian hat pin holder. The classic hat pin holder is hand-painted china with floral designs and is shaped like a tall salt shaker. Early ones from the 1880s were made in 2 or 3 pieces, the top and the body plus the saucer. Later ones were made in one-piece molds, but generally had a central hole in the top or base for removing the inside mold portion. I found this strange wooden thing in my grandfather's house. It was carved by my great-grandfather. He moved to the United States from Norway in the early 1900s. Nobody in the family knows what it is for. What could this be? It's a washing paddle, a hand tool used to do laundry. It was used to beat the wet clothes and linens, pushing out the dirt by hammering the items against the washboard or against the flat slabs built into the laundry area. I found this in a box of items including a screwdriver set and other random tools. We were going through a box we dug out of the house my grandma lived in from 1960 to 2010. We thought maybe it was some sort of pastry or ravioli cutter, but it seems really sharp, and the whole thing is pretty small, probably about 3 inches. Any idea what this was used for? It's a sewing tracing wheel from circa 1930s. It is used to transfer markings from sewing patterns onto fabric with or without the use of tracing paper and can be used to make slotted perforations. What is this thing I found at my local antique shop? It's about 8 inches long, it weighs about a pound, and has a width of about 1 inch on what appears to be the business end of the tool. My first guess is maybe something to do with glass blowing, like a shaper tool. Any ideas? Please let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.